It's okay. We're good here. We all know what game it is. We all know how long we've been here. And first pick going the way of LNG, the Jace.
Jace. And we even get a traditional draft. Blue side first pick, red side with counter pick. Jace now is if WE have Aura, they hover the Kha'Zix. They don't have to lock it in, but they just have to hover it for mental damage. And I mean, it is technically a flex pick, but I think Cube is more than equipped in terms of his champion pool to kind of deal with the Jace champion if it is going to be for Sheer.
Could it be Ashe Seraphine time? About and Erha are the team that have actually played it, and they have a chance to just swing and grab it right here, right now. I guess the Corki duos are still in there, but no Corki Nami, no Corki Karma. You'd have to pick it with something else. Ooh, I mean, this is a rough matchup.
There are no lanes that are left in the game for me that I know. Maybe we can go for Ziggs that kind of stat check Ashe and Seraphine. Like, not only do you just have the immediate upfront like synergy between their kits and the E from Seraphine, but also her heal is ridiculous. Just the heal, the shield, you basically can't push them out of lane. It is really hard to break this duo in the lane, and they have so much utility later. Are we going to get an Mbessa? We have not seen Mbessa all season for this team whatsoever. Yeah. We have one Mbessa game from Sheer in split number 1. And we're getting a Galio. Okay, this is turning into a dive comp here.
All right. Yeah, I think this is Croco's Mbessa. I mean, it's possible to still pick Jace jungle. It's hilarious to pick Jace jungle against Monki when that's what he eliminated you with last split.
Yeah.
There's no way, though. I think this is almost assuredly going to be a Croco Mbessa jungle. Love the Poppy counter pick into it. Yes. Really wise decision there from WE. This could... Actually, this is almost certainly going to Monki, but it could be for Cube as well. They decide that it's a better matchup.
Depends if they can get the flexibility there. Right now, Gordo, what I think I need from LNG is either more setup alongside that. I would probably say if there's an engaged support, it's probably going to be Leona this game, with Nautilus already taken. But right now, I do think that LNG are a little low damage. Like, Jace, Mbessa is going to have it later, but she also is very short-ranged, and you don't want to be doing that when there's a Poppy and a Seraphine on the enemy team. So I think right now LNG need to be thinking about champions that are going to be able to very quickly snap and engage onto their opponents. Respectful bans coming in from WE, taking away the Mel and the Ziggs.
Really trying to limit some of these mage options. They know they've got themselves a strong bottom lane, and they are going to look to take it as far as they can. What are 1xN and missing going to show up against this Ashe Seraphine? Already some carry pants on Croco and Sheer, but you are really going to probably want a little bit of extra support from your star bot laner with all the chips down and your backs up against the wall. Looking at this Aatrox as their pick up against the Jace Cube, I would say likely to lock this in.
I'm looking at his career. We have no mage play from 1xN. Zero. Not a Ziggs game. Not a random Vladimir game, not a Mel game. He's strictly been on these marksmen.
Aphelios Lulu?
Aphelios can be, yeah, Aphelios Lulu can be good. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. There's an Aatrox now on the enemy team with a Seraphine and the Ashe. They can just outrange you and outvalue you. So the lane has to be really incredible for LNG for them to get things going. And now we're also not even considering the fact that Karis gets counter-pick. He gets to see the entirety of LNG's draft and pick the champion that he thinks or that WE think is the best suited.
Lulu Kog'Maw? Lulu Twitch?
No.
Dare I say?
No
taking
hovers.
Some extra time to figure out what 1xN is going to pilot. Seeming like it's going to be a carry. Going to be something to pop off in the later game. Accepting how difficult this laning phase is going to be. 1xN on the Jinx. Demands the ball. In the very final moments.
Smolder mid into Galio. Yes! Oh my god. If we see this game go any later than 20-25 minutes, I think WE are really happy as long as they're not down like 5,000 gold. We saw Cream get literally the most DPM in history with this champion versus Xiaohu in their Game 5 last split. And now, up against LNG. This is for all the marbles. There's no more games to play between these two. This is for a spot in Group Ascend and a spot in Split 2 playoffs.
Everything to play for here. And as the timer counts down, Croco's on the Jace and Sheer is on the Mbessa. It is going to be a reprise of the Jace jungle. Croco takes it into his own hands after Monki eliminated him with the same pick in split number 1. And once again, it is Croco saying, I want to be on a carry jungler. I want to have the ability to pop off and carry from the jungle. He let the team down a lot in split number 1 with this same call. He can redeem himself here.
Yeah, this is the important part. If they win, history's written by the victors. You just say you could say he had a really great series leading up to this point. And some people who are just going to scoreboard watch, they might just say, like, oh, like, Croco obviously wasn't good enough to win the series. And they might make up some narratives there from that. And just that could also be applied to the rest of this team. You're now going to be going in this game number 5 with a lot of chips stacked against you. I think Poppy has incredible value this game. And Jinx and this Mbessa need to work together. If this Mbessa gets into the back line and can execute one of these marksmen, things can turn around for this LNG team.
Absolutely, and you know, we saw last game, 1xN and Missing able to outperform a duo that was stronger on paper in the laning phase. They could do something like that this game. It would be massive for LNG, giving them space to breathe, giving them room to play in this game up against a duo that has defined the meta for so much of spring and that so few teams are even willing to contest with, let alone in a game number 5 situation when your options are so limited.
Finally getting a level 1 invade here. Monki, you're playing Poppy. It makes sense. Croco's going to cross now. And I think he knows that his Raptors are warded, so it's going to take a long path to try to catch Monki out. Has first strike. It is Storm Raiders here for Monki, so he doesn't have the same utility.
Need to get him in here. Waits for the charge to come on through. Smite fight won
No way.
by Croco. And Monki is forced to retreat. Croco might not let him go either. I'm surprised he went so long without hitting this guy. But Monki will now be allowed to walk on out with his life.
Okay. He's going to continue on with his clear. He's only going to go down 1 camp, but I mean, now Poppy gets to go to her side of the jungle. Also keeps her flash. That is probably one of the most important pieces of her kit. The outside summoner spells, just having the flash body slam available at any time is always pivotal to the kit. And kind of interested to see that it is a Storm Raider Surge. Oh, this ward's going to go out at the most perfect time.
Yeah. Yui going to see the Jace as he comes out of fog. He will just get a quick shock blast. That is his reward for staying hidden for the correct amount of time. Gets a little bit of first strike gold for his efforts, but cannot say much more than that. And Monki, of course, is well and truly behind on his clear. He's not gotten either of his buffs yet. Croco waiting in the wings for this mid lane. Maybe just going to farm a little bit more. First strike flash from BuLLDog is met with a flash from Karis in turn.
That was really tight. I mean, I saw BuLLDog already on top of him with the flash, or with the taunt, so not getting that is pretty big. And I think Monki's actually rewarded for not taking his blue buff. He's here to at least see that Jace is on the top side. Jace, very similarly, did 3 camps and then went bot lane, showed mid. Now he's going to finish the top side rotation. And Monki is just going to forego getting the Krug so he can be here for the Scuttle. I think it's a very good spot, and I think for WE, there's not very much threat, I think, coming in from LNG's lanes early on. It is a Galio, it is a Jinx Lulu versus an Ashe Seraphine. You are under no threat early on. It has to be this Jason and Mbessa that break open the game.
Yeah, the Misfortune Magic from game at number 4. Tough to replicate here for LNG. They are shoved under the lane. They are down about a wave's worth of CS. They are taking early recalls for 1xN to get the cull to try to stay alive. Just that little bit of extra time. Missing going to sacrifice a decent chunk of his health bar here just to try to keep this wave away from the tower and make sure that 1xN is going to be able to pick up a little bit of farm here, and little min-maxes of every little bit of gold you can get going to be the name of the game for the LNG bot lane throughout most of this early phase.
gonna crash a pretty disgusting wave here. Monki could look towards mid, does have his flash up again. BuLLDog's probably going to be fine. I think it's really tough as Monki unless he invests a summoner spell to really look for very much. But, I mean, Smolder is stacking. Our bot lane is in a good spot. It's going to come down to dragons. Who's going to be able to stack dragons early? Who is going to be able to get this? As a Smolder team, typically, in Smolder's bot lane, you usually don't have the time or the priority to attack dragons early. With this Ashe Seraphine, I think that does change just a little bit here for WE. So the more that they can grab of these, just it puts them in even such a better spot.
Absolutely. Early serrated Dirk picked up by Croco on the recall. Dragon about to be up. Let's see if they want to try to make a beeline for it. Like you called out, this game goes too long. Smolder going to become a major problem for LNG, despite the fact that they drafted this Jinx for 1xN. So would like to see them put a decent amount of priority towards these dragons. And they do have a rare moment where they're going to have the wave at least somewhat pushed up here. Nice denial of the cannon minion there by Erha, locking out on the zap. Croco arriving to the scene, but only going to see the Fey Light get the ward dropped on it.
Yeah, he just doesn't have access to being able to make these ganks happen. He has to go through the lane. It's the strength of Jace and the weakness. You know, you can't give a champion that has this much amount of range and this great amount of poke also the ability to very quickly gap close and CC his targets and set himself up for success in that way. So they're trying to get anything, but it's Jinx Lulu. You do not have the same amount of setup that an Ashe Seraphine would have. You can see it is very difficult for LNG to get very much from their jungler to be able to do anything here. Also, they did dodge, which is pretty good.
Yeah, good stuff from about Erha, able to keep themselves safe. Croco just walking around, farming first strike stacks wherever he can get them. Gets a little bit of gold into his pockets here, continuing to clear out camps. But this first dragon, it's looking like Monki might be able to secure it for himself. Knows he's got the bot lane dominance, knows where Croco is and what he's up to. He's at least going to be able to pick up that scuttler to tick over to level 6. And now the junglers staring each other down, fully aware of where either stands. And this very well could be a dragon going the way of WE if they want to try to play for it.
Lulu came over just to try to protect. Should have gotten spotted on their way mid.
BuLLDog wisely waiting before channeling the Justice Punch. Can he get out of here? Mom going to rail down on top of him. Goes for the punch. Manages to not quite trigger the Keystone, and it doesn't matter. BuLLDog able to get out of there. Storm Raider Surge. Proc for Monki there, but still wasn't enough.
Croco's thinking about it. Croco wants to try to go for an engage. If Monki walks into his bot side, he should be spotted. They know Jace is here now.
At the very least,
also have Seraphine coming.
Recalls. Erha on his way up, will get shock blasted. Now gonna get collapsed on. Might end up having to flash here. Croco able to dodge away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Missing is here for the backup. 1xN arriving to the scene as well.
Oh God.
Recalls, TPs, everything being channeled across the map here. WE are the ones who make the call to back off. Croco not able to force them to stay on the map for much longer, and all that will happen is that the play in mid fizzles for the likes of WE.
I'm so scared here, Gordo. I mean, the flash from Monki was a bit adventurous, but he has Hex Flash, and if that Ashe ultimate lands, say goodbye to Croco. That is the first blood immediately going over. So some near misses for both teams sliding through, and it's honestly a negligible lead here for LNG. This is not a gold lead that I think is in any way impactful here this early on into the game. Grubs have spawned. They're not as important this game as maybe some others, but due to how strong WE can be on side lanes once Smolder picks up 2 items, once Aatrox is more relevant with some inventory filled out, I think having these grubs is a very big prize for them. So already seeing LNG start to contest. Seems like instead Seraphine's just going to make her way down towards bottom lane anyway.
Yeah. With Monki on this side of the map, not an opportunity to trade it for the first dragon either. LNG can try to double dip here if they do find the opportunity. They're actually going to settle for just 1 grub, it looks like, for Croco. Maybe he smited one as well, I didn't get to see, but not getting the full grubs at the very least. BuLLDog going to be forced to flash the Justice Punch. Not going to be enough to get him out of there. Encore going to land only on a BuLLDog. Follow-up damage not quite available. And LNG will again successfully absorb another play. It does cost BuLLDog his flash, though.
BuLLDog's flash, and it's just more stacks here for Smolder. I know it sounds like a very small thing, but the quicker you can get to 225, the better. And it's expensive, yes, but you're just going to continue to keep farming this, this Galio
into
early
Croco.
on.
Big chunk comes on across there. Croco going to be happy about that one, but not enough to actually finish off the kill. And Monki just going to come over here and clear out some vision. Very slow and controlled early game, which is exactly what WWE want. You can see Croco's been trying to make stuff happen, just still can't do it. Hex flash things going on over that blast cone.
He's going to continue to keep farming up. And while we're waiting for Mbessa to be relevant here in this game, I think for LNG, all it takes is one kill, honestly. Like, we've talked about it from WE's side, but if Jinx can get excited, she can take over a fight. It's just, there are so many things that are going to be going against her. Seraphine, Ashe. I mean, Poppy can just wallbang her into the wall, and you're basically done from that point. And even with the cleanse, you also need to be able to survive to be able to deal that damage. Instant cleanse from 1xN.
Yep, forcing that summoner out about. Connects the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. There's no options left for 1xN but to cleanse. As both parties going to now look for a recall. First Dragon continues to stand tall. You can cut the tension with a knife this game, Alk. It is so critical for LNG to not fall behind, but you're going to need to be able to make proactive plays eventually here. They are going to come over here, clean up the rest of the grubs. My suspicion that he only took one is confirmed, but he will clean up the rest here and now.
Doing great, Seamus. Doing good. Yeah, we're fine with this. Smolder just TP'd back in. We have a 2-on-2 standoff with the mid and supports. Good job for Missing to come mid. And you think, while I personally do not like this matchup for Galio versus Smolder, I think being able to make sure that Galio gets access to gold is really, really pivotal, especially because his ultimate is so much stronger. Just being able to make plays happen in a reaction. Also to get buffed this patch, Galio got a few tweaks to try to make him more of this anti-mage, but also is able to deal damage. So he also taken the Storm Raider Surge, so he actually does have to deal damage to make use of his Keystone.
Well, also, I mean, unfortunately, the major buff is that his ultimate now scales 1-to-1 with magic resist in a game where he does not want to build any magic resist. And there's going to be a flash encore, met with a flash from Croco in turn. That ultimate will not be connecting today, but all four members funneled into this tiny little choke here. BuLLDog going to be able to break away for now. Teleports coming on in from both top laners. The Dragon's already been smited. Justice Punch going to buffer away the knockback from this Poppy, but BuLLDog already so low. Public Execution comes on through. Big knockup comes through from the growth of Lulu, and First Blood will go the way of Sheer. Now they're able to find their way on towards the next member. It's 2 kills going to LNG. Erha and Cube fall.
Some bad positioning there from About, and good punish from LNG. They got 2 kills. It goes over to Croco, and it goes over to Sheer. Maybe not perfect in my mind as an AD carry player. I would love for Jinx to get those 2, but at this point, you have to be able to take whatever you can get. 1,100 gold now here for LNG. It's all about this poke. Man, this was such a tight timing here. Trades the flash, and you're getting some good poke, some good chip. But Monki, because his ultimate times out, it'll be back in just a few moments, but the lockout now means that he doesn't have this Keeper's Verdict. This flash from Sheer is incredible.
Really great call there, and forces the flash out of About, but frankly, it pays off for him anyway, because he gets in the middle of 3 members for the growth of Lulu to come right on top of him and be able to have him knock up 3 members. Really, really beneficial situation for LNG, as they now find themselves at a 2K gold lead despite losing that first Dragon.
Wow, they got 1,000 gold while we were in that replay. So must have been able to get some plates, must have been doing some lane swap shenanigans. Maybe Jace was able to farm camps while Monki was off recalling. Good job, LNG. That's still a Dragon going over to Team WE, and that is where things start to get a little bit dicey. We see first items are being completed across the board, and Smolder now with Essence Reaver basically gets to stay in lane for as long as he wants. And, you know, small note, because of the change to DFT to now being magic damage and not adaptive, it does mean that the Galio matchup is slightly more in his favor. I'm not going to say it's completely solved now because of the change, but it does help a little bit.
Yeah. I think there was a cashback trigger for 1XN as well, contributing to some of that gold lead. Yeah, he's on Inspiration Secondary, so I think he got a little bit extra there to contribute to the gold lead and to get him ahead of about, which is good stuff for him. He finds himself now up about 700 gold. Which is good news when you are in the business of scaling up on this Jinx. Karis going to get jumped by BuLLDog. Doesn't connect the Justice Punch, actually, so Karis is going to farm him for Dragon Training stacks, and with the Dragons the way that they are, this guy is going to be fully stacked well before Soul becomes an issue, so LNG are going to need to win this through good old-fashioned scraps and gold.
You're gonna have
He
to
a little bit
flash.
caught here. Really nice polymorph. Stops the use of the Steadfast Presence. Great pick there by LNG.
Hey, Monki just needed to flash as soon as Lulu gets on his screen, and because he's polymorphed, he can't use it. Ends up getting caught there. 3-0 now here for LNG. I did take a look, Gordo, in the tape. Both Jace and Jinx have cashback, so they're going to get more money from their items once they complete them. That is definitely contributing to them having this. Looks like it's going to be 3 grubs and potentially a Herald. That would be very good. That's one way you can kind of cheat the timer in-game. You can just get gold and get items before your opponents finish them. And that can massage some of the woes that we have from the draft.
Yeah, Shearing a nice time in this lane as well. Really good for him. Was already building up a CS lead before he got access to the gold from the team fight, and now even further from that lead, from that success. As you called out, the Rift Herald certainly got to be a priority here for LNG. The Dragon stacking game plan did not come together. The bot lane matchup saw to that, so need to be able to have ways to catapult your lead. Rift Herald going to be a big one of those. Sheer picks up an Executioner's Calling, picks up a Tunneler. Coming back out on the map, although BuLLDog is TPing towards bottom lane, so maybe not their #1 priority right now.
Yeah. Seems like he's going to be just kind of chilling. Huh. Alright.
Indeed. Yeah.
We're in an okay spot. 3,500 gold is certainly pretty nice, and Jinx is getting very close to. I hope this isn't. I hope this is PD. I'm not really too excited about RFC, but I think it makes sense when you're playing into Ashe and Smolder.
Yep. Being able to get those kind of poke autos. I mean, you are a pseudo poke composition, I suppose, with your Jace as well. So if you can make the RFC auto trade pattern work out to your favor, more power to you. Croco will find Monki on the face check, and wow, I mean, Steadfast Presence passive is strong, but Croco makes short work of it there on this lethality Jace. Big damage.
He's 2 items, and Monki has essentially no armor here.
Oh.
Jesus Christ! Erha's almost dead. I mean, Erha takes 2 auto attacks and a Jinx ult, and he's probably dead. Big damage coming in. This is a big point of strength now. We're against the 2nd dragon of the game. Team WE are just getting poked out by this Jace. Really, really good stuff coming in from the jungler of LNG.
Croco said, give me the ball in game #5. Needs to redeem himself from that Kha'Zix game earlier this year that lost for them this very same matchup. And now his skill shot accuracy is the only thing between him and a spot in Group Ascend. They will pick up Dragon #2 for LNG. 3K gold lead, tying up the Dragon count. And just building up as big of a gold lead as you can before this Smolder is online, and then being able to brute force a team fight through him is still the name of the game for LNG.
Level 13, 187 at 18 minutes. He's essentially on track here for getting his 225 by 20. We have a small timer here since it seems like there's going to be very many objectives. I have 2 online, it turns out. I've been reading too many online patch notes and seeing 2611 or whenever they decide to make this change. DFT doesn't do magic damage quite yet, still adaptive, so
yeah,
not a big change, I think, for what the state of the game is going to be, but with how things are looking right now, Gordo, it is really going to be I don't think this dragon is necessarily going to dictate what this game looks like. It's kind of how the fight actually turns out. Like, if 1xN gets like 2 kills, then we might be wrapped here. It kind of depends on if Monki is going to be a real impact in this game with this Poppy.
Yep. You know, BuLLDog and Karis continue to be off on their own little world throughout a lot of this game. Karis is getting pretty close to that 225 mark at 197, you can see there. So, I mean, he's going to have it by the next dragon. Rift Herald, though, started up by Croco. Full control of this area of the map to LNG. So they're going to have no problem securing this one. Will they find an angle onto Karis, though? Actually, that's a pick quick up onto the turret. Flap, going to get Karis out of the way of that one. And LNG just going to move right over towards mid, maybe try to take down this outer turret.
1xN.
Whew. Well, wow, really nice look there from Sheer. Dashes forward, throws out the public execution, and they made the channel time on that longer, but
oh my
made
God.
It work. 1xN, what a beautiful buffer! Gets in the Rift Herald to deny the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and that's going to be the terms that start off this fight. Shock Blast, connect onto 2. Flash in from BuLLDog, trying to hold down members. Cube is on the back line, coming in for a big flank, but he's just a little desync with the rest of his team. Monki nearly going to fall down to the barrage of damage from 1xN, and LNG, a knife's edge on this fight. WE barely stay alive.
He said, Sheer, you can tank that one for me, brother. I'm getting into this Herald. I'm crashing into this turret. I'm getting this gold. 1xN wants to make a send right now. And this Jinx is looking untouchable here, Gordo. The lane may have gone well for Erha and Erha, but 1xN is continuing to scale in this game. And I might have to eat my words here. This Smolder, I don't know if it's going to be enough. I mean, Monkey's kind of just standing around. Do they have the damage requisite to kill the Jinx?
That's going to be the question. I really wish we got a replay of that engage there. 1xN buffered Enchanted Crystal Arrow with the Rift Herald. I've never seen that. I didn't even know there was a timing you could do that. I'm pretty sure he gets hit by the arrow and is just in the Herald in that same instant.
You know what? We're going to get a replay at the end of the game. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Most likely.
All right.
But
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
it
just went wide and I'm blind, but I think that's what happened, man.
LPL producers, LPL observers, give us the replay. It's a little late now. So, Dragons in a minute and a half, Gordo. As I've said before, time goes on. We must continue forward. The march towards the end of time continues. 2 items for both teams, and they are just getting gold for this Jinx everywhere they go. 3 grubs and the Herald. They already got him in mid. They went to bot lane. They let him last hit there. He's going to have Infinity Edge before the 4th dragon even spawns. And, I mean, if they get a recall in now, maybe he needs another extra wave, maybe another 2. He already has 2/3 of the components.
Yeah. Will he be able to pick it up before this dragon fight? He would love to. But frankly, I mean, I think you're hoping that this game doesn't go to a soul anyway if you're LNG.
I don't think it is. Look at the time of the game.
Yeah.
We're 2 dragons in at 22.5. Like, I don't think there's a soul for another, 15 minutes anyway.
That's what I'm saying. You don't even want it to go that long, so maybe you don't even care about the dragon. BuLLDog getting a little bit dove here, but does manage to wait out the Steadfast Presence. Still going to get hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Damage coming out through, and Karis will get his first of the game. Shut down gold into the pockets of the Smolder, but mid lane completely undefended.
Now Jinx gets another turret. Now they're going to be able to go to the top side here, and they'll be able to fix this if they really need to. Cancels his recall, starts it up again. They're going to try to trade for this turret. I think WE could lose this if LNG decided they want to take a 4-on-4 right here, right now. Dragon's going to get started by Croco, and they're going to look to try to push on side lanes as LNG just get more and more out on the map.
Decision-making looking a little bit split here, though. Nice Super Mega Death Rocket to clear the wave. How often do you see that in a game of League of Legends? But does slow this turret take a little bit. Karis going to call his mom to come and clear out this wave for him. Still, nobody's showing up to this top side. They're just waiting for BuLLDog to respawn. The Dragon did get taken by LNG, and you know what? They've cut the gold lead by about 2K off that extended play.
All right. Jinx is taking a recall, Gordo. My eyes are glued to 1xN's inventory. Show me an Infinity Edge. Boom! It has made contact with his hands. This is a 3-item Jinx. I think even with this Smolder who already has the execute. I think this is a very tough decision now to make as WE. You need to be precise. One wrong move sends you to Nirvana and ends your Split 2 playoff dreams.
Needing to hold on to that spot. You've spent so much time and effort this season playing against the best teams in the LPL and improving. Take that first round robin to the second. WE start winning games, start forcing game threes, even managed to take a series in there. They want to build on that. They want to keep on going. They want to see just how good they can get for split number 3. And through playing more best of 5s right here in split number 2. But LNG, they know what was denied to them last time, and they are here to claim what they feel is rightfully theirs. Starting the Baron now.
I think it's already gone, though. I mean, Monkey's nowhere nearby. We're TPing Cube in.
Oh, there's going to be the dangle of
Out.
that public execution. Nowhere to go for BuLLDog. Does get the Lulu ultimate, trying to navigate his way out of there, but he is going to be stuck. He's just going to buy as much time as possible. Channels the ultimate, but is executed by Karis. That Dragon training making the difference there as down goes the mid laner. It's a 5 versus 4 as WE are going to try to siege into the Baron.
Yeah, 1xN got hit with the Keeper's Verdict, and by that point, I think LNG knew, hey, our bread has already been buttered. We got ourselves the Baron. No ultimate from Sheer.
But he's going to get stunned up. There's going to be the Encore, doesn't connect. 1xN steps up, fires a couple of rockets out, but his top laner is already done for. Now it's a 5 versus 3. LNG, low on resources, going to have to give this one up, and they're probably going to lose an inner as well.
And this is reminiscent of game number 1 where we were saying, Sheer, where are you? Even the Rumble from game number 2. He gets caught out. He tries to defend the turret alongside his team. It's a minus 1,500 gold Baron play here for LNG right now. They're going to lose more waves. They've done nothing with half of this Baron buff already, but there is still time here. There is still an availability. We have not seen 1xN be a part of the fight. We continue to come back to these two marksmen, one in the mid lane and one in the bottom lane for these two teams.
Yeah, it just seems like different pages there from Sheer and the rest of the team. He steps up looking for the damage, but all of the Lulu resources were blown on the Galio earlier on. So can't actually buff up Sheer, can't keep him alive. 1xN dodges out on the Enchanted Crystalero, but now he's got his Poppy all over him, trying to flash back away. Here comes Cube, has the resources from the Poppy, but it's just not enough. About finds 1xN. BuLLDog is TP'd into the fray and immediately regrets the decision. He's got to back away. Shock Blast does some good damage to WE, but LNG, this comedy of errors just continues. They lose member after member after member.
2 flashes down. That's 1xN who will not have flash for this next Dragon play. Same thing with Galio, but for WE, you got that out of the Ashe and from the Aatrox. I think as bad as it was, it's going to be as good as it's going to get for you for the time being. This Baron has done nothing. They got Baron and immediately started losing the game here for LNG.
Nearly a minus 3,000 gold Baron power play. 3 seconds to go until 1xN is back on the map. He will be able to rejoin the rest of his team. And now I'm starting to think about that Dragon Soul again, Alk, because so much of the gold lead has been forfeited in these last couple of seconds. It's still a scaled up Jinx. It's still a strong team fighting tool. But now Karis is getting the opportunity to continue to scale up with the game, and this is looking like it could go 40 minutes.
This is that gold graph. If WE grab this Dragon, though, Gordo, I think Dragon is a far-flung dream. Right now, it is all about can LNG execute. All mistakes will be forgiven if they get this Dragon, and they're in an okay spot. That 5,000 gold lead we saw for them, down to 1,000, is a really good recovery from Team WE. They're going to have to re-enter. They have no vision right now, but there are a ton of buttons up. Again, only looking at the flashes down for BuLLDog and 1xN going into this fight.
A 7-kill game number 5 here, 28 minutes. Enchanted Crystalero comes out. Croco going to get it cleansed away from immediately. Mom comes on across the team. BuLLDog able to absorb most of the damage. Monki going to walk into one of those chompers, and Karis does get an opportunity to get the Dragon's Breath across of the team. Monki steps up, looking to dash in, looking to find this knock-up off the back of the ultimate. There's going to be the public execution. He found his way into Erha. Erha's going to be the first one to fall about. Is getting chased down. Sheer going to flash right on top of him and will be able to find that kill. But what about the rest of the team? BuLLDog has already fallen down, going to be able to come back and rejoin. Going to try to work their way through Cube, and Monki slows coming through from the zap. 1xN finds he has opportunities to fire away, but needs to be able to be respectful of Karis on the baby dragon. Cannot find the damage to be able to get the executions, and it is a 2-for-2.
Dragon's gonna go over to LNG, and they're gonna be on sole point here now, Gordo. I'm very confused. There was a lot of mistakes. Oh my god, Cube's TPing back. I mean, Monki needs the jungle privilege. He'll have a massive blast cone available to him. Oh my god!
In Croco trying to flash forward, trying to get out of Karis. Cannot find him. Croco bets it all on his ability to assassinate the mid laner, and he finds nothing. Monki puts him in the dirt, and WE got to tie it up at 2 dragons apiece.
Oh no, Gordo, it is starting to come true. The late game fantasy, the setup from this 2-on-2 in the bottom lane. Ashe Seraphine giving all of the utility to the rest of their team. You want vision? Here's a hawk shot. You want shielding? Here's my Seraphine's kit. We didn't even get to see, oh man, Sheer, he played this fight so well. The setup between him and this Galio. You break up the front line, you put them away from each other. I'm glad we get to see this section from Sheer getting taken down. I want to look at the other side of this fight because Galio, or Chase, Jinx, and Lulu all quarantined themselves to basically behind their mid-tier 1. I feel like they should have been able to walk forward and help their team. If they get those resets, Jinx goes wild in that fight, and they win everything from there.
Yeah, just not quite able to get 1xN online, not quite able to get him rolling. They are still constantly on the verge of a 1xN pop-off, especially if they can find a way to access this smolder. Sheer, incredibly strong, playing so well on the Mbessa. They upped the channel time on this ultimate, and he still finds it, but Croco's caught again.
It's happening again. It's happening again, Gordo. Croco tries to take a counter carry matchup. He tries to get cheeky, but the Ashe keeps finding him. This is the utility that is available to you, and Lulu is nowhere nearby to hit him with the Mikhails. Baron goes to Team WE, and the game is starting to sink away. Ascend is in the eyes of Team WE.
I'll take it one step further from you, Alk. Not only is it Croco and happening to him again, Croco attempting to make a play onto Karis on the red side dragon ramp. That's what cost them the Kha'Zix game. He tried to 1v1 Karis as Akali, and he paid for it. Now going for the assassination, it very well may have the same result. WE, a chance to keep themselves alive in the Split 1 playoffs from down 2-1 in the series. They have the gold lead for the first time in who knows how long. They're beginning to siege out of the base. LNG able to interrupt the recall from Karis. There's a flash from BuLLDog. There's the public execution. Sheer sees his opportunity. Where's the rest of his team? Galio gets on in there. Karis nearly taken down. BuLLDog needs to get one more shot, but he just can't find it. Erha is keeping him up with the surround sound, and BuLLDog is the only one to die in the team fight.
All split long, we have said the prize for getting first in Nirvana was being able to take a weak Team WE. We have discounted this team. We have said they are no longer deserving of their spot in Group Ascend, but time and time again, whether it is 2 best-of-5s or a single elimination tournament, they have come up clutch here, and they're defending their ability to continue on in Split 2 playoffs.
Continue on to Split 2 playoffs, continue on in Group Ascend, continue on their season the way that they would have drawn it up. Everything being played for in this series, everything being played for in this Game 5. And WE, from the absolute brink, fight their way back time and time again. And now find themselves with every non-base turret taken off the map.
Cube sitting in mid, they still have Baron for another minute, and Drag spawns in that same time. Smolder not going down in that last fight. I mean, Flash is still down on cooldown. And he doesn't even have a ton of Omnivamp here. He has upgraded Swifty Boots and now has a Serpent's Fang with this RFC. He has the range. He does not have the ability to survive. That's the damage that LNG need to find, but they need to get the executes. I am just looking at this Jinx being 0, 1, and 3. One pop-off is all it takes, but we keep talking about it as a potential, almost like LNG, almost getting to Ascend.
It's always been about potential. It's always been about 1xN's ability to get to Ascend. He's been dreaming of this opportunity. He needs to show up. He needs to have an absolute miracle of a team fight at this stage to pull LNG back into a winning position in this game. 15 seconds to go on the Dragon. I don't even know if LNG can get out of their base to show up to it.
Got it. 10 seconds before this Dragon, honestly, not a very big deal. It is mostly a platform at which WE can invite LNG to a fight. We have now seen 2 fights in a row, Gordo, where slim margins. If Jinx was able to hit one more time, if Jace was able to hit one more time, WE get taken down, Jinx gets excited. Who knows? Who knows? We might never know at this point. We have not seen Jinx get excited in a relevant fight, and Team WE are continuing to get more and more healthy. I mean, this is a GA now for this Smolder. It is becoming increasingly more difficult for them to find anything. So we need to go back to basics. Stop looking for Smolder. I know that sounds like a hard ass to go for when he's dealing this much damage, but we need to pick out this Seraphine, this Ashe, before anything else gets done.
Team fighting capabilities of this duo cannot be understated, have mattered so much in this game. The Enchanted Crystal Arrows picking off Croco. Erha putting out such big threat with the Encores. LNG have put in so much work to be able to prevent them from being exceptionally useful, but that itself puts them into positions that they otherwise would not choose to be in. Itemization changes coming through from LNG as they look to set up for what could be their final fight of Split 2.
10th series here. It's been back and forth. I mean, technically WE have the momentum from winning game number 4, especially in such a one-sided fashion. Splitting out on the map, LNG are completely corralled. They have dropped every single wave to make sure that 1xN gets his gold. That Croco is able to be relevant here. And a minute before this Baron, I don't think we're going to have any real item completions before this is up and ready to go. See that right now, Karis is up 4,500 on BuLLDog.
Whew, that is a lot of money. That's kind of getting the diminishing returns territory because Karis has a full build and BuLLDog has 3 items. So really not going to matter how much farther Karis gets ahead at this point, but those Dragon's training stacks,
big number.
They continue to come through. Big number does matter. Flame Horizon was crested long ago. And I guess continuing to get elixirs.
Oh, it's Gathering Storm. Oh my god.
Oh, baby. Enchanted Crystal Arrow finds its way on towards Missing. He's going to get hit by the follow-up Encore. Public execution over the wall. It's getting onto Monki, but they haven't been able to find Karis. Karis finds a second. Karis looking for a third. Flashes over the wall to make it a triple kill. And in the moment that WE need him, Karis arrives to the scene, deathless on this Smolder, ready to take them deeper into the playoffs and back into Group Ascend.
Croco's going to look for some kind of flank. They found 1xN. He has to flash away. The wave is dead. Croco's going to pull. They're going to get an inhibitor, but they won't have the ability to siege onto the Nexus turrets. It might have saved them. 1 minion is enough.
They're trying anyway. Cube is tanking these up. They're starting to work their way through the Nexus turrets. They don't care about the minions. They're just tearing through the base. The Nexus is going to fall. And WE say, I don't care if we lose to BLG 1,000 times. You aren't BLG, and we aren't leaving.
Oh my god. Incredible stuff. 40-minute Gathering Storm. The 1 minion being alive there is what makes the difference. It takes the defenses of the turrets down. It makes it so they can actually siege. Cube tanking up all of the turret shots there. Incredible. Incredible stuff, man.
Hear me out, Alk. This is broken. I don't care what this has to say. Player of the series, Karis, man. We didn't give him individual player of the games, but the Akali game, the Ahri game, and now the Smolder game.
Very true.
Tremendous play from Karis in every single win that WE put on the board tonight.
And that was the question coming into tonight, whether the solo lanes were going to pick up their slack, whether we were going to see this top side from WE arrive to the moment, because they are the veterans on this team. We saw these 3 players play on this org last year. Cube and Karis, specifically Cube, has been playing a long time in the LPL. Karis played in the LCK for a bit, came over here trying to kind of rebuild his career in a new region, and he absolutely bodied in terms of impact. He was way more felt in this series in comparison to his lane counterpart.
Absolutely. I mean, such a huge game from the mid laner, such a huge job from so many different members of Team WE over the course of this series. Everybody had to come in and pull their weight at some point or another, and they all were able to. A grueling 5-game series to keep themselves alive in the playoffs, to keep themselves alive in Group Ascend. And they eke it out at the very end. They were down 1-2 at one point in this series, and they fight back 2 games in a row from deficits in both at one point or another. The true WE way, as they've done all season, to be able to win out the series.
Also, just want to take a notice of like the environment in which this happens. This is a remote part of the tournament. This isn't like, hey, we're on stage, you know, quote unquote, like the lights were too bright for us to perform. They did it offline. They did this online as well now. This is 2 separate like environments that they're able to beat LNG. And an incredible story here for WE. I am a little scared for what Split 3 is going to look like for this team, because I already know that there are going to be people who are going to look at them and say, well, they're just in Group Ascend again. They only got a single series win, but maybe they're just like the benchmark. It's like, okay, you must be this tall to ride. You must be this tall to be able to get into Group Ascend.
Hard to think otherwise, and hard to know what to think if you're LNG at this point. A roster built to get to Group Ascend, a roster that has had no problem dominating Group Nirvana, and sent back there now for the 3rd split in a row. Got to be disappointing for them, and I mean, huge questions about this team going forward. Is 1xN even going to be on this team for summer? It's a big discussion point around the scene. What decision do you make at this stage after falling to WE for the 2nd time?
Even if they win their play-in series next split, it's not even a guarantee that they'll get Group Ascend for Split 1 of 2027, right? Yeah. We saw EDG, they won their Group Nirvana play-in series. They went 0-6, and they ended up in Group Perseverance. So we can end up with a similar situation where if we have the 3-group system going into next year, they might not even make Group Ascend then. And the whole conversation about whether or not 1xN will be on this team next split is, he is very heavily touted as one of the best AD carries not on a top-level team right now. But if you can't consistently make it out and you're only doing well against lower-end teams, I think there is maybe a conversation to say, like, your competition has been a lot weaker. You're not playing against the Jackie Loves, the Vipers, the Galas consistently. You are playing against Photic and Leave and like Shaoya.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's a tough position to be in here as the LNG members. I mean, what the rest of the league thinks of you, you only have so much control over, and may very well come down to moments like this where performance wasn't quite there. So close to being able to find Karis, by the way, in that one last fight up on that top side where BuLLDog interrupts his recall with the Prado belt. But lots of close moves that just don't quite end up finding their mark here. LNG had the gold lead, had what they were looking for, and it wasn't enough for them in this game. Some of these plays around the Baron, some of these plays immediately following it, where this gold lead starts to evaporate away, and the momentum just never comes back to them.
Karis absolutely smurfed this, man. He was so good, and I was hard pressed to talk like very positively about WE solo lanes. I have spent the last year and a half basically like, oh, is Cube even good enough to be playing in some of these Group Ascend series? Is Karis? Karis sometimes is absolutely invisible, and in this series, mechanically speaking, he was better than BuLLDog. The games where BuLLDog won, we're reminded, is like the Twisted Fate game, right? And then what was game 3? What was he playing in game number 3? It was game 3 was the Twisted Fate. Game 2 was the Yone. And the Yone, we even had some questions like, is this the execution we want to go for? I'm not going to say that Karis was 5 out of 5 games better than his opponent, but he really put the team on his back, and especially in probably the second most important series they've played all season.
Yeah, and I mean, forget what you do in the games where you lose. It's the games where you win that are the ones that go on the scoreboard, the ones that get you to where you need to be. And in all 3 wins, Karis was instrumental. The Ari game, what was his game number 1? Well, I said it already once, but I'll come back to it. The Smolder game at the end here as well.
It was the Annie versus Akali game 1.
The Akali, yeah, the Akali for him was so absolutely great as well. Of course, it's Karis Akali. How could I ever forget Karis Akali?
Man,
coming into the night, I thought the one champion that he played well, but he adds plenty to him. He adds at least 2 over the course of the night in what is a tremendous series.
Hey, the Ari was good. There were some good looks on the Rise. His most played this.
He earns the benefit of the doubt on plenty of others. I'll give him that.
Yeah. First Smolder of the year for Karis as well, and he gets himself a win. Very, very good. And another best of 5 loss here for LNG. Unfortunate, but we'll see who the Pog is. And guess what, everybody? If you thought that series was long, we got IG versus TT right after this. So we're getting an interview with Cube. That's the wrong solo laner from WE. But you know what? I won't complain too much more.
Yeah, it is what it is. Well, while Cube takes his interview, we are going to throw it to a break here. We're going to get ready for the second series of the night because we're only halfway done. Yeah. As you promised, Alk, there is going to be plenty more LPL action coming with IG versus TT, but you're going to get 2 different casters to take you through that one. So thank you all for hanging out with us for this first series, and stay tuned